Hello, everybody, and happy St. David's Day to all the Welsh people watching. If you're Welsh, awesome, you guys rock. And if you're not Welsh, well, you're Welsh today. St. David's Day is kind of like St. Patrick's Day for Ireland. It's St. David's Day is kind of like St. Patty's for Welsh people. So anyway, it's Fat Tuesday as well, day before Ash Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. So enjoy if you're from Detroit, your punchkis. Glenn's like, what are you talking about? He's behind. He's like, what are you talking about? Punchkis. That's all I got to say. Anybody else knows in Detroit, if you guys know about them, put down your favorite punchki, because I think it's definitely a Detroit thing. Hamtramck, everything. They're just, punchkis are awesome. So happy Fat Tuesday. Today, let me tell you what we're going to have today. What if you got to meet one of your heroes? What if you got to meet whether it was a rock and roll star or whoever, and you got to go to their house and have dinner with them and have home movies of them and all this other stuff? Well, Glenn did that, and Glenn is sharing that with the world with his hero, Jack Kirby. I want you guys to really see everything about this campaign on Indiegogo. You know that Glenn and I, full disclosure, are business partners in a lot of different ventures, but I want you to see this for the fact of history of what it is. This is an epic thing that is happening for comics, and anybody that's a collector needs to watch this show, because I think you're going to really find out what your collection needs. We'll be right back. And like I said, we'll bring Glenn out in a second. I want to talk about Rising Tide Broadcast Network real quick, which we're affiliated with proudly. Check out everything we're doing 7 days a week on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Follow us on Facebook. That's probably the best way. And then you can go from there and check out everybody else's YouTube channels and all that fun stuff. Check it out. We're a group of creatives that help creatives build their business. And it's awesome. So if you're a creative and you've got a business, plug into what we're doing. Also, we want to thank John Cashman for backing us on this as far as being a sponsor. John Cashman has been there 26 years now, I think, at Bay City. And he is the comics guru when it comes to collecting. So check out everything he's doing on cashmanscomics.com. He will ship nationwide. With no further ado, let's bring out the star of the show.
Hi, everybody. Okay, Ted?
I'm doing very well, man. Listen, you had a really just an awesome day yesterday. So I'm going to let you go ahead and, the platform's yours. So let's say hi to everybody too, by the way. So
yeah. Hello, everybody.
Are you seeing the comments at all? You get the comments?
Yes,
right?
I can. Yes, I've
okay.
got the comments. Yeah.
All right. So Donna, Carl, I just want to say hi to everybody. Lewis, Mike, Jimmy. Hey, all right, cool. We got a group.
We're in the Netherlands as well.
Yes, we are.
Just a stone's throw from me.
So tell everybody what's going on. Why are you doing this?
Well, I've decided that this unique footage that I have of Jack Kirby at his house when I went twice, once in 1988 and once in 91. Mm-hmm. And for the longest time, I didn't look at this film. I didn't do anything with it. It was just there. And then about 10 or 15 years later, I just looked at it and I thought, and I've forgotten a lot what was on it. I just knew I had this film, and it was really fascinating to watch because it's Jack Kirby speaking about his life, mainly, not so much about comics, about his life in his studio in his house. Mm-hmm. And it's such a unique insight into the man rather than his creations. We don't dwell a lot on the Fantastic Four and Galactus and all this kind of stuff. We talk about art and we talk about his life. He talks about his life. And I've never seen anything like this before. I'm not saying there isn't anything out there, but I've never seen it. I've seen a couple of clips of him at conventions and things like that, just for a couple of minutes. But this is 45 minutes long of him talking about his life. And it's an amazing thing. And back in 2016, I think it was, I realized obviously that it was coming up to Jack's 100th birthday in 2017. So I thought, wouldn't it be neat to put this thing out on DVD and let people see it? So I did that. I released the first cut in 2017 and did a premiere of it at a local theatre to about 35, 40 invited guests. And there was a Q&A. The film was in two parts. It was me talking about the trip and how I got there, and then the second part was the talking with Jack. And then the Q&A was filmed, and nobody's ever seen that apart from me. And I thought there should be something else to put out as well, because there's a discussion about my trips and about Kirby in general, and that's another half an hour long. And I just thought, well, people would like to see that again. So I decided to do a final cut edit, which is what this is. And it's got the original trailer on it. It's got a little monologue, and then it's got me talking, rambling on. And then it's got Kirby talking in his house. And then it has outtakes, and it has the Q&A. So it really is the complete package this time. And I also decided to, because not everything is recorded, obviously, I decided to write about my journey to him and produce the book. And the book is that, and that's his it's A4 full color, 120 odd pages, and it's just full of my trip to his house. It's got photographs in it. It's got there's over 40 photographs of me with Jack at his home, and it tells you about the discussions he had about my artwork that I showed him. And I've got my notes that I took at the time, which I've written up into the story of it, and it's just full of it doesn't have artwork in it. I'm not allowed to put artwork in it. I didn't want to run foul of any copyrights and stuff like that. But the other thing is that there's a clue in the title, the personal journey. So it's it's mainly about me until obviously everybody gets to Jack.
Right. Well, and I mean, you're the narrator of this story. I mean, that's the thing. You not everybody. Well, Jack's been gone now, what, 20 years, 20 roughly?
1994.
Wow.
What's that, 26?
Almost 30. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have a chance to, they're not going to have the chance that you did. And that's something that you're offering this in that regard. I mean, it's a continuation, it's history, but you're seeing Jack as a human being versus the king that in comics that he was.
Yeah.
Tell one of the things, you were very candid with me over the last course of the last few months. Should I produce it in America? Should I produce it here in the UK? And I suggested that you do it in the UK, even though it's going to cost more for shipping. Yeah. You can sign everything. Then you can endorse this.
I wanted to. Sorry. As we said at the time, I could produce it in the USA, for argument's sake. There are DVD producers, and there's obviously Mixam that I'm using to print it.
Sure.
And it would be the easiest thing. In fact, I've been in touch with those people, but it would be the easiest thing for me to send the PDF to Mixam to make the book. And then the other people to make the DVD. And I had a guy in Arizona who was willing to take all this stuff and send it out for me. And not that I'm a control freak, but I didn't want to lose any control on it and get into any kind of problems with it. Not putting that guy down. I just didn't want to go down that route.
Well, you don't know from Adam. I mean, there's no.
That's right.
I mean,
yeah, of course.
It's a crapshoot. I mean, you don't know. You're on the other side of the globe.
That's right. So what I did, and I also wanted to personalize it even more by signing it, as you mentioned, because obviously I couldn't sign the shipments from America, and I don't know whether that's worth anything to anybody. It's probably not, but it makes it a more personal thing, I think. A book signed by the author with the DVD. The shipping is probably horrendous, but I have no control over that, and it just depends on whether people want to invest in this. Because it wouldn't be that much less in America, I don't think.
No, but the shipping's going to be shipping. And, as far as I'm concerned, if it's, I mean, it's a shipping. I would rather, I look at it as an autograph. I mean, you're the autograph charge, if that's the case, if you, however you want to look at it. But I think it makes it more valuable, knowing that, you produce this, it's in your in your hands. You signed it and
Yeah.
mailed it out. I think that's
Yeah.
I just think it's
And it's
a
like
better
a
way to do
quality control as well, because I would
it.
have
Sure.
no, I wouldn't know. I'm sure that the items would be brilliant, but I don't know how they're going to be packed. I don't know where they're going to get there safely, all that kind
Right.
of thing. So
Right.
it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. But it wouldn't put me off buying it. If somebody had produced it from America, I would have got it because it's unique. Like I said,
Right.
I've not.
Right.
There's obviously little films of Jack talking at conventions and things, but I've never seen anything like this.
No, I mean, they're
It's
home movies of
unique.
Jack.
Yeah,
They're
it's
home movies
unique.
of Jack, and I don't think anybody's, unless that's privy to the family, that would be the only person that I would think. If you
Yeah.
guys want to like and share this out too, we'd appreciate it big time for the channel. Let's get on to I put the link for Indiegogo in the chat, so you guys check it out. We're going to go ahead, and if you don't mind, I'm going to get on that
Yeah.
screen real quick, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to move over here, so you go ahead and, well, I'll tell you what, 74% within 24 hours isn't bad, bro. That's not
Mhm.
bad. So you got
I'm
30 days. You got 30 days left.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really,
See,
really good.
what I did for the campaign is, you'll see there's only one thing, there's only one perk, as they call it, and that's the
Yeah.
book and the film. I
Right.
did consider selling the book and the DVD separately.
Yeah.
But I thought, no, what's the point? Because one is, they complement each other, you know,
Absolutely. They
because
do.
also
Yeah.
the transcript of the film is in the book. So you've got
Excellent.
my entire story of what Jack Kirby means to me and how I got there in the book. You've also got the transcript of the film and the Q&A and all that kind of thing. So it's a companion book.
And there's that amazing wood desk. That is something else. I'm listening to you. I didn't mean
that's
to
the
cut you
most
off.
rickety thing you've ever seen. You know, it's incredible that all the good stuff came off that. You know,
just
all
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
That should be in the Smithsonian. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it was going to be, but I was talking about this last night. That it was going to be, from what I heard. I think Neil Kirby has it. I don't know why it's not in the Smithsonian, and maybe it is now. I don't know, but I think his son had that desk, which is amazing. But
that's your work. That's your work on that desk,
yes,
correct?
that's my work. Yeah, and
that's so awesome.
That's
awesome.
That's also in the book. What Jack gave me an art critique, as did Roz. And I tell you, I was more worried about what Roz would say about it than what Jack said about it.
I'm
but
gonna go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
He did give me some great compliments, you know, and this kind of thing. And I don't think he just said it. I don't, I mean, my artwork is there, but it's just been on that desk, you know, and it's just incredible that he would spend the time to.
You've lived a dream. Like I said, this is a hero moment. You've lived a dream that most of us growing up would have killed for. I mean, this is a huge, huge thing.
What I like about that, what I'm happy about that, is that I did it twice. That's the artwork on the desk of mine. I don't know if you can see that I showed to Jack.
Let me see. Hold on one second. I'm on the other screen there.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sure.
You're good. No. Let me bring it up. Go ahead. Show him.
I showed him. This is a science fiction story that I wrote and drew. The friend of mine. I drew it, but we both wrote it. It's not finished. We never finished it off. We should have done. But those are the pages that I showed Jack.
That's awesome, man.
And thank you. And I showed him Hatch, of course. You know, and he thought Hatch was great.
Well, that's great.
He has to see Hatch, and he said to me, it's great, but he's got to have a hat. That's why he wears hats. So,
got it.
You know, I thought, well, he knows what he's talking about. You know, the only other perk I was considering for this was a set of prints of Kirby, and I thought, well, why would anybody want that picture of me with Jack Kirby? You know what I mean? And maybe if Jack could have signed it or something, but
I don't think it's I don't this type of environment or this type of campaign is, I think it's simple and it's to the point. I don't think it's primitive in any. I just think that's it. Okay, here you go. How can as a collector, how can it get any better?
That's
right. I mean, for me, I don't know. I mean, I know I'm partial. I know I'm biased because I consider you a brother in comics, but looking at this is, from this is history. This is a one deal shot. So, can I play the video? Do you mind?
Sure. Yeah.
I go through. Let me get on here real quick.
the original intention of the film was just for my personal use, but I thought with it being such a unique thing that I'd like to offer it to anybody who wants to see it. On the first visit, Jack took us into his another room, a separate room, and there were these brown parcels full of artwork piled up. And he said to me, "You draw like I do." We were in the studio for 5 hours, you know, it was fantastic. And there's this, he's got this desk, and everything he's ever drawn has come from this desk. And then I would just go with the flow, and that's what this film is about. It's just a unique film of him.
He says, "I beat you." He says, "They say we came in under the dead heat." He says, "That's not true because I beat you." And the American said, "Well," he says, "if you like to think so," he says, "but I know the real story." He says, I know I clearly won that one. Well, Joe is 6'3", and I was a run, from the Lower East Side. And being Joe's partner was an advantage to me because Joe was believable. You know, they would talk to Joe. The Goodman brothers would get to know him. Martin Goodman owned Martin at that time. He went to his mother and he says, "Look, Jackie got a job drawing." He says, "They're paying him for it. They're paying him money for drawing." He says, "Suppose I go with Jackie." He says, and he said, "They'll pay me money." He says, "I'll draw and they'll pay me money." He said, "I'll give the money to you," which we did. We gave it all to our mothers. They called me from Nassau. You know, I lived in Long Island. And they say, "Would you like to come down and draw these guys in training?" I swear, this is not a story. And I said, "Yes, of course, I'd love to come down."
Now it's quite a testament to him. That's awesome.
Yeah, the sort of a downside is the creakiness of the film and everything, but I think it sort of adds to it. You know, if it had been perfectly filmed, I think it might have lost a bit of its, unique presentation.
Well, and as you're listening to it, you don't even it goes away.
It
At
goes
least in
away.
my mind,
Yeah.
I don't. You know,
Yeah.
if you're,
I'm not.
I mainly wanted this for the book too. I mean, it's a twofer. You know, it's a two
Yeah.
part.
One of the most daunting things was when I was on the when I did the premiere, and my head talking was 15 feet high on the screen. That's really awful. I just wanted to walk out and thought, "Who is this guy?" You know what I mean?
Right.
Just rambling on, but you get past it. You get through it. But it was really good. The premiere was really good. I really enjoyed it. We all had a great time, I think.
Sure. You're at $546 right now, American. So, yeah, you set the goal for what was it?
It's £550. So I don't know
Okay.
what that is. About $700, I think, or something. Is it? I'm not sure.
Something okay about that.
Something
Okay,
like, yeah,
but you're 74% funded. So yeah, if you guys are interested, get on this because I think it's as a collector, like I said, they're going to be. I mean, this is it. This is the campaign. This is one that you want to be investing in. I can't say it enough. Ryan Permission's in the house. Pop's in the house. Good morning, guys. Ryan shared out the Indiegogo link. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Ryan.
that. You're going to be 30 days left on the campaign right now.
Yep.
So
yep.
yeah,
So
that's good.
Plenty of time. I think it'll do it. I'll just panic until it goes over that line.
It will be fine, I'm sure.
You know?
When is fulfillment? How long does it take right now? Are you gonna have the books ready, produced immediately, or after the campaign, or how does it work?
People are going to be getting it probably by May, I would have thought.
Okay.
I've got the DVDs now already, so I would just wait for the book for the amount of books I need and that kind of thing. Maybe get a few more spares, but yeah, I would imagine by May it would have been fulfilled, or late April, early May.
Right.
As soon as I can, really.
What was the most daunting thing about the trip and everything? What was it? Was it the travel itself? Was it relying on everybody? What?
No. I love traveling. You know that. Everybody knows that. The most daunting thing was getting there. My first sighting on when you go to his house, when you walk up the drive, the drive is sort of to the right of the house, and you look, and there's the front door, and there's a row of windows from the garage to the front door, and I saw him, but as a silhouette walking towards the door, because he was obviously expecting me. I could see him, and then he opened the door and I said hello and all that kind of thing. Went in, and I couldn't speak. I was 33 at the time, and I couldn't say, I couldn't speak. And we sat down for lunch and all that kind of thing, and everybody else was having a great time and laughing. I was sitting, I couldn't even eat. I was just sitting there, like some 4-year-old. And it was quite a sense of humor. He kept saying, "Oh, who are you, by the way? Why are you here? What do you want? What do you want? Who are you? What's your name again?" And just trying to get me, and I couldn't say anything for about half an hour. But after that, I was okay. But I soon learned that Kirby had a lot of stories to tell about everything. And I just realized, I didn't go with a set of questions or anything. I think the best interviews is when you don't ask.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Specific, try and get some kind of flow going.
Yep.
And that's what I did. And that's what he did. He knew his part, and he knew why I was there. And he must have figured, well, you've come here to see me. I'm going to talk to you. I've got all these stories. And like you said, he mentioned Joe Simon there, and he mentions NASA and all that kind of thing. I'll tell you, that NASA story is amazing. That's not all of it. I'm not giving anything away. Wait till you hear it. Wait till you hear the end of that NASA story. It's absolutely amazing. But there was another exciting thing for me was the second time I went, 3 years later, was I'd taken him a cartoon of him and Roz, and giving it to them on the first visit, and you can see it in the book. And then on the second visit, it's in the background on the mantelpiece between us and the picture. Yeah. And I always say that I don't think Jack put that there. If that wasn't, I don't believe it was there for 3 years, and I don't think Jack put it there. I think she knew who I was.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Despite as many people turning up.
How many Englishmen do they have come into the house?
That's right.
That have been there twice.
Yeah.
And that's, I tease my brother and my family. I've given them artwork over the years, and I make it so that they don't have to put it on the wall. They can actually just keep it on an end table. Right. And every time I'm at anybody's house, they always have a piece of art on the end table, so I'm sure that they dust it off too. They get it out of storage, dust it off before I come over.
You can see the picture between us there.
Yeah, right. And there it is.
That's in the frame, even in its original frame as well. So
that's cool.
Like I say, I think Roz dug that one out, and maybe it was there all the time. I don't know.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're the steward now? You have to share this. Getting away from the myth for a minute of who he was. Do you think it's your stewardship to continue this on?
I don't feel like it's mine. I had a similar I'm going to name drop now. A similar conversation with one of the astronauts who walked on the moon. And I said to him, I realized the political situation. I realized why the United States went to the moon, and I realized it wasn't to get a few rocks. It was to beat the Russians, basically, or the Soviets. And I said, but you've got to realize that I'll never do that. And as a 14-year-old boy, when you went for me. Yeah. And he had to agree, because he did. They all did. They all went for me and us, everybody. They went for everybody. And like Neil Armstrong said, a giant leap for mankind, And I feel the same way about this film. I don't feel like it sort of belongs to me, but it's mine to put out, and that's what I'm doing. I don't intend, well, I'd like to, but I won't make $1 million on it or anything like that. And I still haven't recouped what it cost me to develop it and edit it and go there and all that. It's not the point. I just feel that this should be seen,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you've got the right mindset. And you know what? It's your journey, and you spent money to go there. You didn't do this. It wasn't the Kirbys paying for you to fly over.
No.
You did everything you had to get passports. This is,
yeah.
And this is early, this is the early 90s. So it's a different economic. It wasn't cheap back then.
No, not cheap now.
It's not cheap now, but it wasn't back then. I remember. So,
yeah. But I just feel, it's not so much. I mean, I know it's my journey because I can only tell you about my journey, but it's not so much for me as for him, because a lot of people know that he created all these wonderful characters and things, but this is him. You know, this is Jack Kirby, not Jack Kirby comics creator.
Yeah.
This is Jack Kirby, and you'll get a lot of you know, like I said to you, that there are those films on YouTube of him at conventions, and he's being Jack Kirby then.
Well, right, yeah.
But he wasn't being that with me. And he was just so funny. And
one of the coolest things I hear with you, though, and I've heard you talk, and even candidly, like I said, when we have conversations about Roz, you know, you know, the adage that there's behind every great man, you know, I don't consider that. I don't like that term. I think that it's like, you know, they're alongside, if not above us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not. And I think Roz is probably that, at least from what you've been stating over the course of the last year that I've known you. Roz was everything in this story.
She was just as big a driving force as he was, except that she didn't come up with the concepts and the artwork, you know.
Yeah.
But her contribution is just as, it's on a parallel, you know. And it's like I said to you, I've said to lots of people, she was just such a lovely lady, and she invited me into her house, and she didn't have to do that. She didn't have to feed me.
No.
She didn't have to let me stay there from noon till 6 at night in her house, you know.
Let me interrupt for a second. The mail person.
Oh, the mail, right.
Yeah,
well,
so
I'll tell everybody about that.
We might have an unboxing here.
Oh, this will be good.
So the Calypso's going to bark, so just bear with me for a second. So let's see if
well, nobody's got it yet. Oh,
post lady comes up to the house yet. Nope,
still
didn't get it. Sorry, bro. Sorry, that's okay. We'll do a live. I'll do a live unboxing when it comes in, but that's cool.
Well, it's on. I know it's got over the water because Randy got his yesterday.
Yeah, very good.
So
and full disclosure, you were kind enough to let us have a couple treats of this campaign. So thank you for doing that. And I'm sorry it hasn't arrived yet. But in any case, and you guys, you know, like I said, you guys need to look at this for what it is. It's a collection piece, and it's going to be. I know it's going to be proudly preserved in this library here in my home. And it's going to be used, though. I'm going to tear through that thing and really read it. And I think
what people should do is buy two.
Right.
And they should slab one.
Yeah. Right. I don't even know if they make a slab that big. That's
just
thick.
I'll send you a print of the cover. Then you just put
like
that
bulletproof plexiglass that they put in banks. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's a unique story.
Yeah. Well, Roz, like I said, that's the thing. That's the whole journey, though. It's not about just Jack. It's the full encompassing thing.
Yeah.
Of the whole experience. And that's not, I don't think anybody's got that on the market. I don't think anybody has a book out that states any of this. I mean, in that regard.
Not in his house. No, there's a picture here I'd like to show you. If I can find it. Me and Roz. This is when Roz was giving me. I'll find it. An art critique, and the one I was more worried about than Jack's for some reason, because she was such a formidable person.
Sure.
But she was great, you know. But I can't find it. It's somewhere.
Of course, you're on camera. That's why.
Yeah, and there we go. Jack, look at Jack's face and look at hers and mine.
Oh,
right. He's walking away saying, "Good luck there."
Yeah, right. Nice knowing you, Glenn.
She's looking through it, you know, and that's Bob, my friend who took us up there. The other guy.
Got it.
He's no longer with us, but there she was, and so I'm there in this stranger's home. I've eaten his food.
It's not a stranger. It's your hero. It's your.
All right. Well, you know what I mean.
Come on, man.
Well, I only know Thor and Captain America. I don't know him. At that time, and so I'm there, and he's looked at my work and he's given us great praise. Excuse me, and a few pointers. And Jack and Ross says, "Oh, I'll take a look at that." And you know,
gatekeeper, yeah, right.
Thinking, oh my God, you know,
send you to the gallows. Yeah,
but she was great. Yeah.
We got Cameron in the house too. Good day.
Morning, Cameron. But it's just that what she said I took to heart more than what Jack said, you know.
When I know that, and on a somber note, I know that you know, you told me how you found out about how when Jack passed.
Yeah.
You want that one? Could you share that with everybody? The day
Oh,
that happened.
the guy who told me. Do you
Yeah,
mean? Yeah,
or
I
just
was
in general, the day of what happened. I mean, you know, it was news all over the place here.
well.
You know, back.
But there was no news here about it on the main. Nobody
I
knows who
mean,
he is.
well, I mean, amongst
Yeah.
comic collectors, you
Well,
know.
what happened was, I think it was a Tuesday. I'm not sure, but it was. I went to. I had a studio in a place called Oldham, which is where the theatre was. It's about 5 miles from me, and I had a studio, and it was in like an old mill, renovated
Yeah.
mill, you know, with different
Mhm.
businesses in. I had a
That's
studio
cool.
then. I went into work, and I used to get a lot of work from these people down the corridor. So what I used to do was go to my studio, set up, and then go and see them and have a
Hmm.
cup of tea and chat and do some work and all that kind of thing. And on this particular day, I didn't have the cup of tea. I just walked past to see this guy, and I went in and I said hello. And this guy was, I won't name names. This guy was just over in his office, and he just came out, and he didn't say, "Have you heard?" or "Good morning." He just came out and he said, "Jack Kirby's dead." And everybody went, "Oh," you know, like, because they
Well,
knew what
because
I
he
thought about.
knows he had to know what he
Yeah,
meant to you. I mean,
yeah, that's right.
I hate people like that. I
Yeah,
really
and I
do.
just said, right, and then just sort of
Digest it, right?
slunk away to my
Yeah.
office, you know, and just sat there for a while and thought about it. Um, but yeah, you learn things in a cruel way,
Sometimes. Yeah.
sometimes, yeah, sometimes.
It
But
could have
yeah,
taken him 30 seconds to pull you aside and said it
yeah,
in a kind way that but
yeah.
yeah.
I think there was an element of glee in
Yeah.
there,
Yeah. Well, yeah. Stick it to
but
you, right?
yeah. But I
So
don't know why, because this person likes Jack Kirby as well. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that was jealousy coming through. I don't know.
maybe,
But
maybe.
yeah, it was. So what I did was, what I would do in any situation like that, I didn't immediately ring Ros up or send her a letter or anything. I left
Yeah.
her alone, because obviously she's grieving, and I'm not family, and I'm not really a friend, really.
Sure.
And I'm just an acquaintance, somebody who dropped by, type of thing. I did write to her a few months later, maybe a month later,
Mhm.
because I had been planning on going back. You see,
Yeah, right.
he died in February, and I was going to go back in the October.
Yeah.
So that was obviously not going to happen. But with hindsight, maybe I should have gone. I don't know. Maybe I should have done the interview with her. But
Yeah.
I just felt I had to respect the distance,
Yeah,
and all
absolutely.
that kind of thing. I don't think she'd be too interested in having me turning up, with all that was going on. And then the opportunity was lost because she died a couple of years later. But she didn't reply. I sent her a couple of letters and she didn't reply. So I just left her alone. I didn't ring her up. I didn't bother her. I thought after that I'll just see if anything happens. And
Yeah.
then she died as well. So I couldn't do anything. But
Well, they were getting older too, though. I mean, there was,
yeah.
she was pretty good though when you were there. She was, I mean,
Oh yeah, they both were. Well, Jack had been ill.
yeah.
And he'd been ill. I don't know. I'm sure where I've got an idea, but I'm not sure. But he'd been ill, but she was great. Yeah, she was really good. I think Jack he was 71 the first time, so he'd be 74.
Yeah.
And she'd be 69 when I last saw her.
Yeah.
And she died when she was 76, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, they seemed okay. They seemed all right, but they were just really nice people. Just really, really good people.
Yeah.
They'd look after you, and certainly looked after me when I went.
Obviously,
and like I said,
yeah.
They didn't have to.
Yeah, and they welcomed you in like you lived down the
Yeah.
street.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good, and that says a lot. I mean, that's a lot of people in that generation were like that too, or
Yeah.
are like that. And
Yeah.
that's my parents are very much that way, and I think
Well,
that's it's very
one
important.
thing that another thing that stuck in my mind is that when I left the first time, when we were going on the first time, and we were on the drive saying ta-ra, saying bye, I said to Jack, "I'm going to come back and see you again, Jack," and he said, "You will," and I did. And the second time I was going, I was about to say it again when somebody else said something, and the distraction and the moment was gone, and I didn't say it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't go back again. I'm not saying think it would have changed time, but do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's always stuck in my mind that I said to him, he was more confident than I was that I would go back.
Yeah.
And I've got to fly 9,000 miles, you know.
Right, right.
So, you know, but
It's a 12-hour flight, right?
yeah,
Well,
just
you have
yeah,
to stop and
just
refuel,
I
but
think
yeah, I mean,
drop
it's
into O'Hare and then
mhm.
4 hours to LA.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a long flight, but I'm not bothered about that. Yeah,
That's
there was
that's one thing when we were in California. I wanted to go pay my respects at the cemetery where he's
yeah,
laid to rest, and we just didn't have the time. You know, I went to certain cemetery, but I couldn't get to
yeah,
that one, unfortunately. So next time when I go out, I'm gonna make an effort to
yeah,
definitely go pay my respects to Jack.
One thing that Bob said to we were talking, it's on the film. Bob is an American, obviously, and he said he'd never read a comic book in his life, and Jack couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. I hadn't read a comic book.
And here, this guy is amongst royalty, and it's not. He has no clue.
Yeah,
no clue.
No clue.
God.
And he's filming, you know, and just filming the wall and not paying attention to what he's filming. And
Well,
he'll see it all. But most of the time he does. It's quite funny in ways. He got a laugh at the premiere because I mentioned
and that's
it,
just it. You have to. That's part of the journey, though. You've got to laugh at it because it's like so. You know, it's almost like not unnerving, but it's you're on the edge of your seat. What does he do? You know, that's the entertaining part of it. You know, in a lot of respects.
It starts off. I've put on the original film and on the film on this. I've left the film off, but I've put the audio on of when we're there before we start in the studio. But I've also added the video, what do you call it? The audio and visual. I put the visual on the actual tape, but on the film I took it off. I just had the speaking on it.
Okay, just
but
the
you
audio.
see, but what had happened was that Jack had been swimming with his grandson Jeremy, and Jeremy had accidentally kicked him in the face and damaged his eye.
Wow.
And oh, I don't believe it. Just let me get rid of this phone. Right.
Oh, good.
And just live on air.
It's okay.
Hello. Can I call you back? I'm on Ted's show. I'm live. You're talking live to everybody. I'll see you later. All right, see you. Right, sorry about that.
It's all good.
Is it live or is it Memorex?
That's right. That's good.
So anyway, he damaged his eye, and Ross said, "Don't talk about his eye because he's a bit sensitive."
Because he's a bit sensitive about
yeah.
Right.
So Bob says to him, he says, "Gee, Jack, that's a good looking eye you got there." Which everybody laughs
right out of the blue. What a
it's
jerk,
really funny.
man.
It's really funny. It's really funny. So
you know, and Jack wasn't somebody you messed around with. I mean, he was a smaller guy, but in New York, I mean, he would get into fights constantly just to stay alive. I mean, there's a lot of things he went through.
He mentions that, and I think he liked the fighting. I think because he had a younger brother, and his younger brother had flowing golden locks apparently, and was very handsome, and so all the kids used to pick on him. So what would happen with that when they were going to school, that they would be Jack was Jewish, so they'd be walking down the street, and at the end of the street would be the Irish kids.
Sure.
So the Irish would know they were Jewish, so they'd jump on David, his brother, and Jack would wait around the corner, and then as soon as they started anything, he'd run out and smash them all up. And then down the next street were the Italians, and they'd pick on David, and Jack would come out and he'd batter them. So he had 5 fights on the way to school and on the way back every day.
Running the gauntlet before he gets to school. God. Well, that probably put a lot of sediment for him in drawing of having all these different characters that I mean, that probably, I don't think our paths are misguided that much. Maybe he was supposed to be there. So I mean, that's good though.
But he talks about or he talked to me, I'm not sure it's on the film now, but it's certainly in the text, about the when he was a kid and the gangsters were all on the street corners with their $500 suits, and all this kind of
cars
thing.
And everything.
And it was easy money because they just said to you, take this to that guy over there, and kids did, and some got hurt and all this kind of
they
thing.
were in a tenement, right? They didn't have they weren't like wealthy Jewish
No,
elite. I mean, elite
no.
people. They were working class. They were really
But
trying to
he was
make it.
clever.
You know.
He was clever because I don't know if you've seen pictures of Ros when she was younger. I mean, she was lovely when she was older, but she was absolutely gorgeous when they met Jack. And so there's that story about where they were at a dance and he was sort of wooing her, you know, and he heard that the guy who played the piano, which is really cool, he can play the piano, isn't it? Play guitar. People are always impressed, aren't they?
Yeah.
So Jack went up and he had his eye on Ros, you see, and she quite liked him as well. And Jack apparently allegedly went over to this guy and said, "Oh, you play really well." And he said, "Oh, thanks." And he's playing the piano, you know. And he says to him, "It'd be a real shame if the lid came down on your hands and broke all your fingers while you were looking at Ros."
Wow.
And he said, "Yeah," and look somewhere else, you know.
Wow. All right.
You know,
He was a real heavy, huh? Wow.
Yeah, and he also said that he was really smart. He said, I was really smart. My girl lived in the same tenement. All the other guys were dating girls from uptown.
Oh, yeah, right.
And they had to take them
They had
home.
to take the bus.
Give them taxi fare. He said, I used to take my girl home to the door.
Wow.
So, you know, it's really funny. And it's just
what do you think was if, in your experience with Jack, reading his books, everything that he's done or that he did, what do you think was his most enjoyable character drawing? What do you think that he enjoyed the most?
I think he enjoyed Captain America the most.
Yeah.
Because that's the only one of the original set that he came back to in the 70s, wasn't it? I mean, I know he did the Black Panther.
Yeah.
But Captain America, because I think I'm not sure whether Stan Lee was editor then. I think it might be Archie Goodman or somebody, but they wanted him to do the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And he said no, but he did Cap because he felt that Cap was purely his, which might give you a clue. So yeah, I don't know, but I think it was Captain America.
Yeah. You know, with everything that's happening, and you know, you were really good about not talking about anything with Marvel at the time and all these other things that were happening. Yeah, and it has nothing really to do with any of it, really, because it's about Jack. It's not.
It's there's none of that on there. He does mention Stan once in the text, but when I got there the second time, all that was just starting, all that copyright artwork and all that kind of thing. And Ross pulled me to one side and asked me, but she was telling me not to mention it because Jack would get upset and all that kind of thing. And I said to her, "Don't worry, that was never my intention. I decided already not to mention any of that because that's not my business. That's not my business."
Right.
And I certainly didn't want to upset him in his house, having had lunch and, you know.
Yeah.
But because I wouldn't do that. But so there's nothing in there that is what you might call controversial. That's not what this is about. And I told the Kirby lawyers first time around.
Well, right, and that's and that's what I was getting at. I want everybody to know this, that doesn't know Glenn and doesn't know his work or anything like that. This is the type of person that you're investing in on this Indiegogo. Yeah. This is the type of person that I do business with because I know who Glenn is, and anybody that's you know, I completely endorse this project completely. So if that has any weight to it or not, but I want to make sure that people know, you know, who you are, because this is the type of caliber project and type of person that you are. So you're investing your money wisely, as a collector should. So
and as I keep saying,
with integrity.
It's my journey. It's about me until you get to Jack, and then there's the film of him talking, which is obviously the main thing people will want to see, and I accept that and understand that.
It reminds me of the old. It reminds me of the old projectors that we used to have, the Regal projectors. I don't know if you had them over there, but here, you know, and they were silent, but what it reminds me of that reel.
We still have them. We still have it. We don't use that because I've got some fantastic.
I've got one here too. I should bring it out.
And I've still got my dad's 8mm that you had to wind up.
Yep.
And I recently, probably 10 years ago, maybe that recently, if that's recent, had all the 8mm and 16mm color put onto disc, digital to
that's cool. You didn't have sound with it, or is it just
No,
the
there's no
yeah?
sound.
That's the way
There's no
this one is
sound.
that I have too, and it works. It has
Yeah.
I had to change the bulb on it, but man, it's just awesome. I
But
love just the architecture of it, this construction.
yeah, well,
Incredible.
we used to watch these things in the early or mid '60s on
Yeah.
the big screen. Was to get the screen out on a Sunday
Yeah.
night and watch these things. And sometimes the bulb would get so hot that it would burn the film, and
Oh, it would melt it.
So we had to stop
Yep.
it quickly, you know. But
Sure. And
so
that
we
thing
stopped
got
using
hot.
it.
That
Yeah,
got really hot. I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
So I'm even thinking about putting something about those out. I don't know whether anybody wants to see me when I'm 5, but I'm fascinated.
Why
It's
not, man?
fantastic, you know. Put it out
Why
there.
not? Why not? I appreciate your time, man. I'm glad that I'm glad that you're doing this, and I'm glad that you've got I'm sorry that I know that you're trying to do this early on, and it
Yeah,
didn't work out, but
few
it's all
problems, but never
timing.
mind.
And
Yep.
I think it's better now. I think it's better now.
Yeah.
What are your hopes when this is all said and done? You want to get this out, and what do you want to do with the remainder of it? Do you want to get into libraries? Do you want to produce it like
Yeah,
that?
sure. I want it
You
to
know?
go everywhere. Yeah, I'm just in the middle of the process of finding places now. I want to get it real at them, you know, through this, and then contact people. Yeah, I'd like to get it everywhere. I think everybody should have this on their shelf, you know, and should watch this because it's.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating. I think it's just great to see him,
Mhm.
and as time goes by, I mean, like you say, the film is now 30 years old. As time goes by, it's going to be antique.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I mean,
it's going to be.
this is history. This is it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is I think it's just as important as if we were seeing any other, whether it's Henry Ford or anybody else that was, you know.
Yeah.
So there's history to it. Yeah, I think it's just I think you did a great service, not just
Thank you. Yeah,
for yourself, but to the Kirby family as well. I mean, to
yeah.
keep that on. So
I
keep his memory
I
alive.
call it a personal journey, and then obviously I did my Rapa Nui book about my Easter Island visit,
Mhm.
and that's a personal journey. And I'm also going to do another one. So I'm just basically cataloging my life. I suppose it's like an autobiography.
That's
And I
good.
don't know whether anybody's interested, but I've got interviews with astronauts, you know, and think men who walked on the moon, and I've got
Yeah.
to get round to putting it out. I've got to do it, you know,
I think you should. I think you
Yeah.
should. I'm just
because
going
like you
to
said, it's part of history.
right. And I think that we've got, you know, we all have an area in life that we have to sometimes brag a bit. And you know what? Brag your head off because you're a very interesting person, Glenn. I'm better for it for meeting you. And I think that anybody that's
I think you are, yeah.
right, you're so modest.
I
So
am
modest.
modest, yeah.
Very humble British personality.
I'm English.
Yeah, yeah. I know. Oh, sorry, forgot. I don't know how I would have forgotten that. You're Welsh today, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean that's it, guys. I want you guys to check out everything with the Indiegogo, see what Glenn has there to offer. I think that there is just a fantastic campaign, and I don't see if you're a collector, it's a no-brainer. And if you've got somebody that is into Kirby or is learning about Kirby as a collector, get involved in it. You know what? Even I even would say if you've got a library in the area and you want to donate something to the library, if this isn't a book for you or whatever, buy it and donate it to the library because I think it's a very important thing that we get this thing out and to the masses. So, anything else in closing, Glenn?
What I want to do now is get this out of the way, and then I can get on with Hatch.
Yes, well,
That's what I want to do.
that's the one I'm definitely interested in.
And then there's
more,
Comics Unlimited as well. So we get to move on
Yes.
that one. We can
Yeah,
start
and we
talking
got
about that soon.
Yeah, so we got a lot going on with that in April. As you can see over this corner here, I have to get used to that.
I know it's terrible, isn't it?
It's backwards. So I want to say how much I appreciate you again. And it's
Thanks for having me on.
it's a wealth of knowledge that I think it needs to be talked about. And I'm glad that you had the opportunity not once but twice to go see Jack. What an awesome thing.
Just let me say that I've said before, everybody has opportunities. It just depends whether you take them. I've had no more opportunities than anybody else for what I've done. I really believe that. I took opportunities. Other people take opportunities that I didn't. So it's all valid.
Yeah.
But people say, "Oh, how do you manage to get to go there? And how do you manage that?" Well, you make your mind up and you buy a plane ticket and you go.
Yeah.
If you've got the money, but if you haven't got the money and you want to go, well, you get the money, don't you? So
that's it.
Take your opportunities.
Yeah. How important is it?
And remember, we're here for a good time, not a long time.
That's right. Long time in the ground. right?
Yeah.
So, thanks again, guys. Thank you, Glenn. Where can everybody reach you? I know that you can reach you here, obviously.
Yeah, get me on Facebook is probably the best one. I'm on Twitter. I don't go there too much, but Facebook is probably the best one. If you want to I don't know, speak to you about anything about this or anything really, just hit me up with a message, you know. But yeah, Facebook, and you can get all my work on Amazon. All my books are on there, magazines, they're on Amazon. Just put my name in, 2 N's and 1 M, and it'll go straight there, and you'll see all this stuff, and you'll think, what has this guy been wasting his time on this week?
Hardly. Well, thanks, man. I'll talk to you in a minute. Thank you again for stopping in, man. I
Thanks a lot.
appreciate it greatly. I'll see you in a
See
minute.
you, everybody. Thanks a lot.
So that's it, guys. So check out everything that Glenn's doing. Of course, he's on this channel quite a bit. We've got Comics Unlimited this Thursday. This weekend coming up, Ted Davies Artistry is going to be at Midland Comic-Con in Midland Mall in Midland, Michigan, ironically. So check out everything that we're doing there. If you guys are in the area, we're there Saturday and Sunday. I think it's from 10 to 6 on Saturday and 12 to 5 on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. So check out everything we're doing there. And I've got a lot of different things, prints, artwork, books. So check out everything that we're doing there. Thanks again, guys, for stopping in. I do appreciate it. I hope that everybody does invest in this fantastic, fantastic campaign. It is a one-off, and I think you guys are definitely going to be better for it. You're going to learn so much about Jack. So we will talk to you soon. Be safe. Do something good for somebody. And